the new best arcane farm in the entire game, barring speedrunning Cascade, of course. You do not need a mod drop chance booster. You do not need a resource chance booster. It's nice to have a resourceful retriever. It's nice to have a resource booster, but the only thing that's needed is for you to play well. That's it. Simple enough. Surprised that you don't need a whole slew of items that make this farm even viable. There's no credit boosters. You do not need a mod drop chance booster. You don't need a specific frame. Titania is my favorite for speedrunning and stuff because I just love her, and also look at how beautiful my Titania is. I can't believe it. Oh my god, she's gorgeous. Fortuna got a new update recently with the Undermined, and it added in these bounties. Now, the Steel Path bounty is really interesting, and let's talk about why. Every 10 Fergalite is an Arcane. You can get 15 to 19 on the Steel Path one, and between 6 and 10 mushroom, which each mushroom is 1 Fergalite once you are capped on your reputation. On top of that, every uncommon Arcane is an 8% drop for a total of 5, so a 40% chance for an Arcane, and every rare Arcane is a 10% chance to drop for a 50% chance. Combining those, you have a 70% chance to gain 1 Arcane, with obviously a chance at 2. On top of that, the Steel Path bounty can also spawn an Acolyte and potentially 2, rarely, however. Out of my testing, I was able to get 1 double Acolyte spawn in my entire duration of actually playing this mission, and so I wouldn't consider that to be like a consistent farm or anything, so the double Acolytes are a little low. You get 1 Steel Essence and 4 with the booster, of course, for the Acolytes. Now let's talk about the numbers really quick. The absolute fastest I was able to complete one run was 2 minutes and 32 seconds. The slowest I was completing these runs was 4 minutes and 37 seconds. Now, I realize that this is quite quick, and the majority of people are doing them slower, but we'll talk about exactly why I'm faster at this, and how you can do the same. The Arcanes that we get for each mission, the absolute minimum you can get is no Arcane drops, no Acolyte drops, and 15 Fergalite with 6 mushrooms. That is 2.1 Arcanes, and the 0.1 matters because eventually it stacks up quite high. The absolute maximum you can get without 2 Acolytes is 5.9. That means in one run you're almost getting 6 Arcanes. Now, imagine you're completing one in 2 minutes and 32 seconds, and you get 6 Arcanes. That's absurd. That never happened to me. The chances of that happening are incredibly low, so I wouldn't suggest that as the average. Across all of my runs, the average seemed to be just over 1 a minute while farming. This is not including the load times in between. I want to say that that's probably an upside of not counting those, since most people are going to have various upsides and downsides to their loading times, as well as being able to take a break whenever you feel like it, in comparison to something like Cascade, where you're locked into an hour-and-a-half run, possibly more, depending on how long you're going. Now, I want to say about 65 to 70% of the runs had an Acolyte in it. The shorter the run, the less likely the Acolyte was to spawn, but the Acolyte can spawn within the first 30 seconds of the mission, meaning that you're still likely to get one fairly often. I do also want to mention, the Acolyte Arcane seems to be bugged. It either does drop and isn't showing in the score screen, or just isn't showing at all. I'm unsure, but I'm 99% sure it is dropping and actually counting in your inventory. So we'll see if that's consistent. I do have to test a little bit further to make sure that that is true or not, and if it isn't true and they're just not dropping, then it's bugged, and I will mention that in a couple of seconds. So first of all, you are going to need to go to your field guide and max this out. Yes, you do need a bunch of these mushrooms, but as I'll show in a couple of minutes here, it's seriously not that hard. It takes a lot less time than it feels, and genuinely is a lot of fun to me, so I think it's worth doing. Once you are capped on these, you can compost these for a total of 1 Fergalite apiece, which means that every 10 is 1 Arcane from here. As you can see, I already have 207 of these, and I can buy 18 more. That being said, let me show what a bounty looks like, and I'll explain exactly what to do during each bounty to make it as fast as physically possible. So when we get started, I play Titania. You do not have to play Titania, but when we get started, I pop my support here. I skip the dialogue so that it gets them started as quickly as possible, And then we get into the missions. This is the Sprodling mission where you revive these little buggers. And they are always in the same set spots. So if you're looking for them, typically they are in one of 6 spots. In every area there is up to 6. If you are 6 players or 4 players, it will always be all 6 locations. In solo, you will find them in 3 of those 6 places. I use my air support at the beginning so that the mushrooms will show up that are close, and then every other mushroom from here on will just be the ones that we find in the way. This objective is to free these little guys. However, we actually want to just skip following them and run straight to the end and wait in this little circle. They will teleport to us, similar to how our companions teleport, and the mission will instantly finish. You can see that we can do the Nightwave skip to skip the dialogue as well. That is going to save you a ridiculous amount of time. Syzygy is one of the worst missions that you can possibly get, but I'll show you a couple ways to make it faster. We can drop our on-call crew and make them hold position for them to collect and capture that Syzygy as quickly as we can, which allows us to move on to the next one faster. You can also use your operator if you have enough time and you think that it's not going to be stopped or slowed down, as you can collect multiple at the same time. 4 players, this is a significantly slower mission, but solo, you can get it done quite quickly. The assassination target's simple. You are essentially just going to kill 15 enemies. They will spawn near you, usually where you're looking, and then the enemy will spawn and you can just shoot them and kill them, and it's super fast. Each different location has a different assassination mission, but it is always the same. The assassination mission, or this exterminate mission, is extremely easy. It is essentially just kill 20 enemies, and again, the spawn rates will just happen in front of you, so just stay still, kill, and you'll be done. So that was a 2 minutes and 42 second run. We'll pick that up and we'll head into the Fortuna and look at our rewards. Okay, as for our rewards, we did this in 2 minutes and 51 seconds. We got 19 Fergalite, which is the max. We killed 1 Acolyte, which our resource retriever doubled for 8 Steel Essence. It didn't count our last one. Then we got 8 mushrooms for a total of 27 Fergalite. So in this run, we only got 3.7 Arcanes, which is not too bad, especially because it's close to our 1 per minute. And obviously we got 9 Steel Essence, which is not counting 1, of course. And I believe we actually also did get a Conjunction Voltage, but it's not showing here because I left too quickly. So we got 4.7 Arcanes in 2 minutes and 51 seconds. There are a couple more. I will do one more run just so you can see. I'm going to do it on non-steel path so that I can mix it up and show you the other locations. This is the Weed the Garden, so we're going to try the Critter Liberation and then one more for the other one. So the Critter Liberation is up in this lab section, which means that it is going to be in a much smaller location. We've got a drone mission. Essentially, we have 8 seconds for this drone to recoup, which means we can look around and look for additional mushrooms or etc. This mission, you want to stay close to the drone, but this mission also has enemies that spawn directly above us in the room up there, so sometimes you might have to run a little out of your way to get there and kill them. That being said, you want to stick near the drone as much as you can without obviously losing a ton of time off of not killing enemies. It should be relatively simple. Again, just an exterminate mission once you get the drone. This is a defend the area. This is the worst one. However, I want to tell you a couple ways you can optimize it. Right at the beginning, I want you to kill as fast as you possibly can and kill the enemies and keep them out of the circle as quickly as you can. Essentially, if there are enemies inside the circle when it spawns, it will delay the mission, meaning it won't start immediately. Following that, you just keep them out of the circle as best as you can, and then when the mission is about to end, try to make sure it's as empty as possible when it's ending, which will make it end instantly rather than after a couple of seconds. Alright, revive the Sprodlings, same thing. This one is the last mission for Critter Liberation. It always spawns here, and you can capture these and just sprint to the exit out here, and it will teleport them here and instantly complete it. Ta-da! I do want to show off one more. I will do Corporate Restructuring, which is the only one we haven't shown. And then I will do one quick run as Nokko, and you'll see that you don't necessarily need to play Titania. It is slightly faster to do so just from movement purposes, but if you get good at the parkour, it doesn't really matter too much. So you'll see that Corporate Restructuring is this way instead of the other way. It is left from the door instead of right. This one is the most complex location of all of them, as it is a little bit of a maze to get around. There's a couple of spots like here where you are trying to get up that way, but you end up looking for something like this and run into the wrong place. It does that a lot in this area. This is the other one. This is the power cells mission. Typically the way that I do this is I unlock it immediately and then I kill. However, in public missions it is always better just to get the 30 kills or however many kills you need first and then doing the mission. It will allow you to complete the bounty with its bonus objective and not fail it because somebody decided to destroy all of the power cells before you could get all of the kills. This is the crate supply. It is the absolute easiest one. Essentially you open it and you kill guys and then it's done. That was the entire objective. Yes, it is that fast. Surprise. This is the assassination again. It will always spawn the Arachnoid, so if you want to find this room first and then wait for it to spawn, you can kill it very, very quickly that way. Those were non-steel path. Let's play Nokko now. We don't have any movement skills other than just some parkour. We're gonna go through some steel path stuff. I'm going to use the Okicore as it's my favorite weapon with Roar as well, as that's subsumed. This is the build I'll use. I also will have a video coming out for Nokko soon, I believe. I do run more parkour velocity than typical. I usually run Naira's here. In fact, for this mission though, I will use less. You do not need parkour speed. I'm going to run Bredos. Bredos is only like 30% or so. And I will just put this entire one here so you can understand exactly what I do when I farm this without anything missing. Now, Nokko's startup is a little slow, so you'll notice right at the beginning there that I struggled a little bit to get started. That's simply because the way that I build Nokko is just around his strength from his 2, and basically nothing else. I'd like to stack up his strength before I apply Roar, so that the Roar is much larger, and then obviously on top of all of that I'm using the Okicore, which again needs to build up. That defense mission took a little longer than I usually take because I was being a little slow on the spawn. Oh, also, the Aki Core kills acolytes now. I don't know why, but I guess. Sure. I'll take it.